Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is Carmen with Elemental Designs, and today I'm going to be covering collaging, and I'm going to be doing this more or less in the way that I kind of go ahead and create some of my collages. There are many different ways to create collages, so this is going to just be focusing on one way of doing it. But as you practice more, you'll develop your own kinds of styles, and the more you kind of learn and the more you kind of practice, your collaging abilities will definitely flourish. So I do encourage you to go ahead and follow along with this video. I'm going to be doing more or less a step-by-step. I'm going to be creating a background out of some collage papers, and what I've gathered here are just pieces of scraps that I have used and just other things. I even have a piece of paper here from a dictionary, but you can use whatever you have. I have a little box that I have where I keep all my leftover pieces from projects that I've done and just different kinds of things, and even printouts that I have, which you'll probably see me pull out here and there along the process. I'm going to be focusing mainly on creating the background first, and then I'm going to go ahead and figure out where my focal point is going to be. I went ahead and searched for free printable royalty-free kinds of images online, and I came across these, which I believe they're very pretty. So I'm going to pick one, or maybe I'll add both. I'm not really quite sure. Probably I'll just pick one, and I'm going to fuzzy cut her out, or do some trimming around all the extra wording and stuff and go ahead and use her. If you don't have access to a printer, or if you don't have this kind of images, you might want to maybe stamp one out if you have those kinds of stamps, and if you don't, then you might also want to maybe check out a magazine or get something cut out maybe from a magazine or something of that nature, so that you can get some kind of a focal point going on. I'm going to be using for this one only water-soluble kinds of products, but no acrylics. So I might go ahead and pull out maybe some water-soluble markers. These are very inexpensive. These are from the dollar store. They come in a pack of 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken, and you get a variation of color. You might have something in your stash that is water-soluble. For example, the Tim Holtz Distress, either markers or ink pads. Other things that are water soluble, so maybe watercolor pencils or even a watercolor palette. Anything that you might have in your stash that is water soluble, that's what we're going to be using. You might even have in your stash gelatos or gel sticks, which are the kid versions. Feel free to pull any of those out. We're not going to be doing all different kinds of things on this page. This page is not going to be overly complicated. I'm going to try to create a nice little cluster, and then I'm going to add some colors, in various parts of the pages, making her the focal point of the page. So for that, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to grab myself a 12 by 12 sheet, because I'm going to be trimming that down and gluing that into my art journal, as opposed to working into my art journal, only because I'm very limited on space in this part of the room where I'm working at. Usually I do it from my living room, which I have a really nice, really big table that I can work off of. But that's inaccessible at the moment. I have the kids home from vacation. So I'm going to be working on this. So I'm going to go ahead and grab myself a nice piece of scrapbook paper of a pattern that I'm not really too fond of or too interested in. I actually see something right here that catches my attention. So I'm going to grab this one because this is not a pattern that I'm, really interested in. And I'm going to be creating this. I'm going to trim this paper down so that it's exactly the same size, or a size that I can go ahead and glue that into my art journal book. So that's something that you guys can do as well, if you wish, or if you have one of those art journals that you can kind of pull the pages out and then pull the pages back in, then feel free to do that as well. But you can go ahead and do that. Gather yourself some scrapbook material, some pieces of paper, scraps, just different items for collaging. You might even want to add some fabrics, maybe some ribbons or something with texture. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some of those out so that I can incorporate those in as well. And we're not going to be making this page very dimensional, so no need to pull out, like your big flowers or anything like that. If you want to add some bling, you can definitely add some bling. So I'm going to pull out a little bit of bling so that I can add here and there. I kind of like this. This is some leftover ribbon that I have, so I'm going to go ahead and pull some of this out. We don't need much because we're only using bits and pieces. So I'm just going to pull out something like that, and I might not even use it all. And these are all things that I found at the dollar store. So you might have these handy. And I'm also going to pull out some of this one here as well, just to have a little piece of fabric. And I found some string, so I'm going to go ahead and pull myself some string as well. And these are going to be little things that are going to be tucked in and out on this page. So I'm going to come back in and out of it and do voiceovers for the remainder of this process, but I will try not to speed it up too much for you guys so that you guys can follow along. I do hope that you will come on and share with us your process. There's a good chance if this process takes me too long that I'm going to break it down into parts. I like to break things down into backgrounds, then focusing on the focal image, and then lastly framing and shadowing. So chances are is that I'm going to break this video down in the same manner in which I did the very first series, where I was working with acrylics and doing an art journal page with a lot of other elements. If you haven't seen that, then I do encourage you to see that, and definitely follow along and give it a try. At the end of this process, I'm going to be giving you guys three hashtags or creative ideas. And what I mean by that is I'm going to provide you guys either with a quote, some kind of a word, or some just creative, creative words to kind of get your creativity kind of flowing, in case you guys would like to go ahead and create some other art journal pages using some of these techniques. I do encourage you to do that, and just keep practicing and keep trying. And if you do want to share with us, then please by all means, in your title, use hashtag artjournal123, and I would love to add it to a playlist and stop by your channel as well and show you some love. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I do hope that you enjoy this process, and let's see how it all turns out.